Hey, this is Don Kryptonium, the wisest man in cosmos. But that's not great achievement. It's easy to be the wisest man in cosmos, but there is also other titles to my name. Founder of the greatest NFT collection ever launched on Cosmos. Kryptonium Maker. Today video will be a little bit boring. Today video I'm going to give you a lesson of wisdom on the Cosmos ecosystem, because I know there is new adepts of Cosmos, a new hopeful being of the Cosmos ecosystem and Cosmos network. This is why before we start you must absolutely love this video. If you watch it on Twitter, like this video. If you watch it on YouTube, and share this video among other hopeful adepts of the Cosmos ecosystem, okay? So checked what I opened. I opened on the CoinGecko the coins that are considered in the Cosmos ecosystem. I even went on the Cosmos website to check the big thriving ecosystem, and I want to give you the lesson. Don't get your hopes too much ahead, because what we are going to talk about is the upchain thesis is dead. The upchain thesis is not good, and the biggest hope for Cosmos are monolithic blockchains, and Terra, Luna, was one of the biggest hopes of Cosmos. And I know what you say. No, that was Ponzu. That's not good example. And Ethan Bachman and Peng Zheng, or whoever he was, he said millions blockchain. They said Regen network is great example of upchain blockchain. But you must know one thing. If you will listen to these guys, you never going to achieve wealth levels of those guys, okay? If you are retail, you never will be. So there was massive collapse of the upchain thesis. And look, recently I was actually talking to one person, the one person that's smarter than me. That's not difficult too. It's easy to be smarter than Don, but it's not easy to be wiser than Don, okay? Because that's the difference between the wisdom and smartness. So I want to point to some of the blockchains that are good. Of course, Cosmos Hub. I could shit on the Cosmos Hub. I'm not, because Cosmos Hub is most liquid Cosmos blockchain. This is essentially, it works like the money. Anything you do, you want to buy $10 million worth of Atom, it will barely move the price. That's how liquid is that, okay? Many of these blockchains are not essentially Cosmos. Injective is Cosmos. And to be honest, if I would have to point to hopeful blockchains of Cosmos, I'm not going to point Cosmos, but you know, Injective or Say could be the ones that are not so much Cosmos aligned, and you know, they are like not really specific, the vibe specific. They're mainly like you know, Say is very much like Jump Crypto specific, but it doesn't really have the special community. It could change. But when I see my hopes, Akash network would be worth to mention. It's great thesis of the upchain, because compute is the money, as Sam Altman says. But some of the blockchains that I see the hopes, and you know, that surprise, I will point to Osmosis. We could talk about Stride here, but Stride is the upchain, and to be honest, I'm not necessarily as bullish, let's say, on Stride as on I would be on Neutron or the other blockchains that are less of the upchain and more of the monolithic blockchain, focusing on many applications. And there is reason why I'm pointing Osmosis, because I feel when Osmosis started, it was meant to be the upchain, but I do think people realize now that it will not work if Osmosis will just stay AMM, and this is why Osmosis tried to attract application launching on Osmosis, because of how deep liquidity is on Osmosis. You can build applications on top, right? So Levana, most successful blockchain that they deployed was actually Osmosis, because liquidity and because how native Osmosis users are in Cosmos, any type of lending borrowing, it will work on Osmosis. There's no reason to deploy a blockchain lending borrowing, and you had the example with Umi that deployed the whole blockchain and it was failed thesis. You don't need whole blockchain to sign up 2 transactions. There is other elements of that, so the other example of the complete fail was Regen. But Regen, there is like multiple other issues that were actually with Regen. You don't need whole blockchain to trade carbon credits. It doesn't matter how stupid carbon credits are, but you might deploy a carbon credits marketplace, but why would deploy whole blockchain, making sure that user experience is worst? Because what you really want, you want easy onboarding from centralized exchange, and you want easy connection with deep liquidity on the main blockchain. Right? So if you have main monolithic blockchain, let's say that's Solana, that's Ethereum, or anything, and you have the apps deployed there that do carbon credits, you will have easy access to the capital and also the certain adoption of that capital. If you build some nonsense like Regen network, without like that part, it will be stuck as the dead chain. On top of that, it will be expensive because this is broke as chain having a validators, because they try to ensure the some nonsense decentralization. So it would make more sense on Regen to wrap it up, to deploy on the platform like Neutron, just marketplace, because they would remove the cost of running the validators and there is zero needs of keeping this whole blockchain, right? So for most of these blockchains, even for the liquid staking, there is no much difference in security when you launch liquid staking on, let's say, Neutron, or let's say, example is Milky Way on Osmosis, when you have easier access to capital, so you don't have to move it across chains and so on. The liquid staking doesn't give you 5,000 transactions a second, so you don't really need so much capacity for whole chain. And deploying this on one monolithic blockchain, you actually remove, again, validator cost. And I think Luna was a great example because they grew very big. And when that monolithic blockchain grows very big, it grows a lot of capital. It grows a lot of interest of the retail. And with that interest, it ensures, with interest and volume, it ensures that the token of that big blockchain will be listed on centralized exchanges, and that also gives the access to very basic retail to onboard to this blockchain, buy the NFTs, trade on AMMs, do lending borrowing, do DeFi yields or whatever, and trade the shitcoins and whatever they want. So I want to tell to every small blockchain of Cosmos, give up, close your blockchain. It's not gonna go anywhere, but I'm going to tell you exactly why the people still deploy app chains, right? And I know it will not be popular what I'm going to say, as I said, Agoric is interesting example. I was actually very bullish on Agoric. My thesis changed. But let's see something more. We have Sommelier Finance. If you build a blockchain, your only one idea should be you should build as big blockchain as possible. So I do think the aims of Picasso is great. They built a restaking on Solana. They built an IBC hub for the bridges. So IBC bridge to Ethereum, IBC bridge to Solana, IBC bridge to Polkadot. The aim is deploying multiple applications on the blockchain. It's not just serving one purpose by having multiple purposes. Okay? So why they launch blockchains? Okay, Agoric, they raised nearly $100 million. Every investor, not everyone maybe, they're just the people who invested, especially the retail, not VCs, they are so much underwater. So it tells you something. Maybe the old ass nerd and bunch of grifty advisors is not the best way to build a product. Okay? But again, why applications launch a blockchains? I give you example of somebody great product, and they have amazing TVL because they try to do a lot of connections, But the certain entities thinking that sommelier is this greatest invention is silly. So I saw something, I always see that on layer 2s or apps on Solana and so on, they always raise much less money. They often raise at 20 million valuation, sometimes 10 million valuation, 15, 40 at best. But those Cosmos blockchains, they raise money at hundreds of millions dollars of valuation. Simply, when you launch the app, the VCs will look at this and they don't want to invest just in the app. Somehow, they love to invest in layer 1s. So Sommelier is the app. Is actually the app on Ethereum, is on the layers 2. There is no reason for the blockchain to exist, for example. Other thing is one of the people who had allocation suppressing the price for last 6 months, dumping all the time on the low liquidity, and this is why not performing well. Maybe without that, maybe without the Cosmos grifty culture and Redditors, it would do better. So everyone knows who I'm speaking about because this is discussing behavior, because you guys were being liquidated always in the name of those founders, okay? But Sommelier raised $20 million, the money they would never raise if they wouldn't launch a blockchain. So what they use blockchain for? For a governance. That's it. There's nothing more. And for real yield, but you can do it to DAO holders. So Regen the same, they were raising a lot of money as this new innovative blockchain. How much they would raise? They could probably raise as the app at 10 million valuation, and that's even not certain. Okay? So this is the truth that many of you will not want to face that, okay? And they surely be more example of this, but to anyone that hopes that this new layer 1 blockchain is gonna print and send to $20 million, they will be farmed hard by the people. Don't focus on that. That's short-term rhetoric. And don't fall for this. There will not be million blockchains. The African villages will not have the blockchains. The African villages struggle with the water. They struggle with the food. Imagine the African village running validator set for which they have to pay instead of getting a clean drinking water. Some believe that would happen, but a lot of founders simply do not know what is reality. So soldiers, remember, monolithic, general purpose blockchains over the small app chains. Always, forever. Stay Kryptonium. Don't Kryptonium us out. Till the next time.